Hi, this is the final part in a story about a crazy tennis match I played at Frinton in 1972. So there we were at the net, ready to shake hands after 3.5 hours of tennis carnage. The words my opponent greeted me with have stayed with me ever since. He looked at me and simply said, "Thanks lad, that's the best game of tennis I ever had in my life. You're a great player." With that, we picked up the balls, which didn't take very long, and returned to the clubhouse for a much needed drink. We talked long and hard about the great match we'd played and all the fantastic shots we'd played within it, mentioning none, of course, of the atrocious behaviour that had accompanied them. Tennis clubs could be an unforgiving place at times, with people continually coming up to you and saying, "Who won?" or "What was the score?" as if that's the only thing that mattered in the whole world. My opponent was having none of this though. He was well known at the Frinton Club, but if any of his pals would walk by, he'd simply point at me and say, "You should see this lad play." "What a player," he would say. "What a backhand." I learnt some very important things that evening. First of all, there's more to life than tennis. And secondly, if you want to make friends in this world, you need to talk to people. Something I wasn't very good at in 1972. I returned home to our caravan to find my sister Jean was upset because she'd also lost a match and she was close to winning. By the time I finished telling her about my match though, she was crying with laughter. We were still in the mixed doubles though, and we went to return to the club early next morning. Jaroslav Drobny, the 1954 Wimbledon men's singles champion, was in the draw and people were flocking to see him play. But we had eyes for only one man, the man in the white cap. We managed to get a practice court quite close to where he was playing his next match, and he wasn't to let me down. His behaviour was equally as bad in the next match as it had been when he was playing me. We'd only been there a couple of minutes, he yelled out the F word at the top of his voice, which didn't go down very well at the Frinton Club in the 1970s. A few minutes later, he was hit a painful blow in the ear by one of his opponent's powerful shots. This caused some laughter from a few spectators, and he gestured at them and sarcastically yelled out, "Ha, bloody ha." Our friendship was to last all of 3 days. We didn't even get to know each other's names. He simply called me lad whenever he saw me, and still painfully shy, I never called him anything at all. Mum had seen some of our match from a distance of about 50 yards. She said it was a bit like watching a Carry On film, really. Well, if it had been a film, my opponent would have been the star turn within that film, rather than myself. I say that not because he won the match, because in the end that was purely incidental. It's just that he was nearly 30 years of age, and his behaviour was just as bad or even worse than mine. As for me, well, I was still a teenager. At least I had some excuse.